Hello, everyone. I'm Gorilla Monsoon.
And I'm your host, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, why don't you be serious? You're not the host, Brain.
Well, I should be.
Chris DiFrancesco is the host.
Chris DiFrancesco?
Yes, that's correct. I didn't stutter.
Didn't he get whacked in an episode of The Sopranos?
Oh, give me a break. He hosts a podcast, Brain.
Who the hell doesn't?
Well, his is about wrestling.
Who the hell's isn't?
He talks about old wrestling.
Wow! What a novel idea.
Oh, give me a break.
Next, you're going to tell me he's got a wrestling-themed name for the show?
Well,
Come on, Monsoon, spit it out.
it's the Hot Tag Wrestling Podcast,
So what?
and it's starting now.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hot Tag Wrestling Show. I am Chris DiFrancesco, joined, as always, by George Rogers. George, what's going on, man? How are you?
Chris, I'm doing all right.
That's good. That's good. As always, we are continuing our weekly episodic rewind and review of the Monday Night Wars.
The longest running weekly episodic podcast in history.
You're damn right. I mean, we're at the end of April here of 1996, April 29th to be exact. George, man, we started this literally from episode 1 of Monday Nitro. We're already up to almost the beginning of the NWO. Man, how cool was that?
Man, when we started this, I was a young, wide-eyed 39-year-old.
Oh, man.
Now I'm a not-so-young, doughy-eyed 40-year-old.
Man, so much can change. In
So
less
much
than a
has
year.
happened. Oh, my Lord.
That's so funny. So I kind of wanted to ask George, because he usually on a weekly basis, I give him the floor to talk about certain things. What I wanted to ask him is something that we talked on the phone about the other day. And it's something that actually our group, which is for those of you obviously who don't know by now in the podcast era here, George, Dean, and myself, we're all, the 3 best friends that anyone can have. And so we actually, shockingly, in the group chat last week, we're talking about wrestling, or more specifically, the state of WWE. And George and I, George, shockingly, I was a lot more negative than I really thought he was going to be. But, when George says to me that, wrestling is really becoming, probably as unwatchable as it's maybe ever been in our lifetime. George was pretty upset. I was pretty upset about it. And I really kind of wanted to have George, if he could, I should have probably brought this up to him beforehand, but it just popped into my head. I kind of wanted George to give me maybe his state of the WWE, and just to let everybody know that when he's talking, I agree with him on 99.9% of this. It's just really been a difficult time with loving professional wrestling. And, we talked about all of this stuff in terms of, well, when Triple H took over, we're back to professional wrestling. We can mention the word wrestling on television. And then George and I are looking at each other as it's June 4th. And I'm thinking, WWE is more sports entertainment than they've ever been. It's almost as if professional wrestling now is just a fun thing they like to say to appease the diehards, where the diehards are realizing pretty quickly, George, dude, this is not our WWE. Like, this is the most corporate entity of pro wrestling I think we've ever seen.
Yeah, you did throw me on the spot. I wasn't completely prepared for this, but this is something you and I have been talking about for the last couple of days. I've mentioned to Dean a few times. There's a gentleman that I work with who he watches everything. He watches WWE, he watches AEW, he watches TNA. He just loves it in general. So I get a pretty good barometer from him.
Yeah.
But so I'm talking about it at work too. So it's pretty consistent that I am always talking about this to a point. But it's not even so much that it's unwatchable. It just doesn't feel like it's important to watch. Because when you do watch, like the last since I want to say Backlash, probably since Backlash.
Yeah.
we've had a really good run of episodes of Monday Night Raw where we've had decent matches. The flow has felt good, so the show doesn't feel like it's 2.5 hours. Like by the time we get to the main event, I'm looking down at the time. I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was 10 o'clock already. Like the time management has gotten better. On SmackDown, it's still 3 hours, and it looks like it's going to be for the foreseeable future because USA likes what they're doing with it. So, I mean, I guess if USA says do it, they're be like, okay, fine. But I also think that the crop of talent on SmackDown's a little bit better because they actually have that roster spread out a bit. Now, I want you to relax here, Chris.
Yep.
Do you know what they're doing on SmackDown that they're not doing on Monday Night Raw?
Tag team wrestling. They are.
See, I know George very well.
They are legitimately building up the tag team division because we get these tag teams that we're seeing on a regular basis. Street Profits are tag team champions, which is fantastic. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Motor City Machine Guns are heavily involved in the tag division. DIY, and they just got Candice LeRae now as their manager, so that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like there's something there. There's a fourth tag team, Fraxium, who just came up from NXT, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Pretty Deadly are still on the SmackDown roster. You don't see them much on TV, but they're there. Legado del Fantasma is on SmackDown. So they're I know you hate them, but the Wyatts just returned to TV, and they're getting involved in the tag team division. It's like, okay, this is pretty cool. Now, like the tag team division actually feels like it's working. On Raw, it's like they got the New Day, the Creed brothers, and the War Raiders, and that's pretty much where it stops. They don't build anybody else up. I mean, which is a shame because they've got Judgment Day. You got Finn Balor and JD as a tag team. I mean, there's clearly some issues going on with Judgment Day, and you love to see it because that's actually an interesting story. I want to know where that's going.
For sure. Yeah, me too.
Especially since they had Roxanne Perez. It's like, man, she fucking made it to the big time like real quick. Like she got it like right away. Have you been watching her from like NXT to like up to now?
Yeah,
on the main
absolutely.
Roster? Man, she's got it. She's got it. But that's like the women across the board. They all just like they picked it up. The men, it's just like, what are you guys even doing? Like, I know you can't compete with the likes of John Cena and Seth Rollins and CM Punk, like veterans, but Braun Breaker's still just missing his fucking punches, and we're supposed to believe like they're hitting. Your father would be disappointed, and your uncle would call you fat.
Right.
But like, so it's not like it's just unwatchable like it was in 2019 or from like 2017 to 2019. Those were some bad fucking times. Those are some horrible fucking times.
I know.
I don't even need to bring up all the nonsense. And I'll fucking leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's just that it doesn't feel like if I miss an episode of Raw, I don't feel like I missed anything.
That's how I've felt for so long.
Like, and you're right about it's like yeah, like this is pro wrestling, and they did bring the wrestling aspect back, but it's all it's all between the ropes.
Yeah,
everything backstage, it's as entertainment as it's as entertainment as it's ever been. So people who it's like the people who are crowing, oh, like wrestling's back. It's like, guys, this is the same shit we've been getting since forever. It's all sports entertainment across the board. Don't come at me saying, oh, AEW is real pro wrestling. Is it really? Because I watched John Moxley fucking take a back bump on a spiked stick. So at what point, oh my God, Paulie's here. Yes. Yes. And they were the jumping bomb angels, Paul. You should remember that, considering where they are from.
I'm all about the killer bees.
You are the biggest jumping Jim Brunzell fan I've ever met in my life.
Damn right I am.
Paul's the biggest B. Brian Blair fan I've ever met in my life.
Brian Blair could work though.
Yeah, well, so could Marty Jannetty, and you see where that gets you.
That's a good point.
But it is sports entertainment. It's the problem is the problem with WWE is now is it's not being run by a wrestling mind. It's being run by a corporate I'll say corporate dictator. It's not, but that's where I'm going with it. Because TKO basically sends down their marching orders to Triple H and Nick Khan, and they're like, hey, this is where we're going to go. This is the shit I want you to push. This is what I want to see on TV. I need to see Logan Paul mentions every 5 minutes. I need you to plaster that fucking corporate logo all over everything. This is this is what a wrestling company looks like that's being run by a corporation. That's not being run by a wrestling mind.
Mm-hmm.
We all know Triple H is in charge of WWE, but he is not the last line of defense like how Vince McMahon was. Eric Bischoff wasn't even the last line of defense in WCW. He still had to answer to Ted Turner and then like AOL Time Warner.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, Paul Heyman, as shitty as he was in ECW as an owner, he was the last line of defense. Vince was the last line of defense in WWE. Yeah. He's still alive, Paul. Yeah. Well, I think we all know what happened. But it's like it's people and you see it online, everyone goes after Triple H, for every time a bad decision is made, it's like, oh, let's go. Like, I can't believe Triple H doing this. It's like, you guys know he works for TKO.
Mm-hmm.
He runs the wrestling aspect of it, but he doesn't get final say.
Right.
And you can see that because if you go back to when he actually, you know what? You don't even need to go back that far. Just go look at his NXT and the way he was running it. Like, compare that to where it is today. This is not the same thing at all. Like, Triple H has to answer to somebody now, and he's not answering to Vince McMahon.
And let me ask you, because you and I talked about this for years, and I think it's still showing to be the case. Do you think it's just a matter of they just don't have stars, like legitimate stars?
They've got stars, but the stars they have been established forever.
Yeah.
Like, Punk has been around forever. We used to go see him at the fucking Armory when ROH was coming around in Philly. Mm-hmm. Rollins has been around forever. Been seeing him since he was Tyler Black. He's been in WWE since when? Like, probably 2012 is when he's in that.
So 2012.
FCW? If you look at like FCW, because their main roster call up was in 2014, right?
Yeah.
For the Shield. Yeah. So like, there's people like Cena. We all know Cena's been around since 2002. I mean, shit, Cena's been around longer than than half of these internet marks have even been alive.
Yeah.
It's like they have stars, but they're not building anybody new. That's the problem. They're trying, but there's not a strong will behind it.
Right.
Like, Cody was already established in AEW. Like, we already knew who Cody was. Like, Jey Uso is the only one that looks like they're trying to build up. But I still maintain I don't think it was right for him.
I agree.
They should have left maybe like another, like maybe an extra 6 to 8 months in the mid card.
I agree.
And then like maybe you have him win Money in the Bank. That would have been ideal.
Yeah.
Is to have him win Money in the Bank, considering how he is a high flyer, and him getting the briefcase would be fucking, would have been big. Him winning the Royal Rumble was just, but what was that? I know like the Rumble is really nothing, but that's like nobody is over. Like, people come out and do yeet, but that's a fucking gesture. That's like doing the what chant. You just do that shit by accident now.
Yeah.
And we know in the other companies, in the one, not a single fucking star because they don't know how to build a star. It's clear that they don't know how to build a star because Tony should not be behind the book. TNA, they have one star and it's Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
But now I wonder how much longer they have him because WWE on Netflix put up a post on our Instagram about Joe Hendry. So I have a feeling his contract with TNA might be up and he's going to come over.
Yeah, yeah.
But Joe Hendry got himself over. I do believe in Joe. He got himself over with that fucking song, man. What a banger.
Yeah, he did.
That's like an instant top 5 all-time theme. Just
I know.
Just on that on that alone. No, Dean, I actually think AEW is if there was a good booker in AEW, they would easily be fucking ascending right now. But they're not because Tony doesn't want to give up the pen.
So I agree.
But
that's a conversation that you and I had where it's like, man, if you could fix AEW right now, they have everything they need to succeed. They have financial backing.
They have the tools, but they have like an idiot writing with a crayon, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like, I do this picture. It's like, oh, great. That picture, say John Moxley holding the title for another 10 years. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah. And I think like they have financial backing, they have primetime television, but they just, like you said, they don't have anyone that can direct the ship consistently where it needs to go.
TNA just doesn't have, it is, Dean, right? And TNA just doesn't have enough financial backing behind it.
Yeah.
Like, they get people, but I mean, like, they do have some veterans in that company. So there is some sort of direction. Problem is, Anthem is just bad at what they're doing. They don't want to dump money into it, but I don't think they even have money to dump into it because they're on a channel that nobody can fucking find. It's up in the 1600s on fucking Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
Hot tag is all elite.
I'll have to make that meme later. Plumber Moxley. You love to say it.
I know.
But it's just like, I want to like what they're doing in WWE, but I can't because I'm just not engaged in it. The matches are good. I'm like, yeah, like these. I'm looking at some of these matches that they have weekly, and I'm like, man, these are really good. But there's no stakes. There's no story. Yeah. It's just a match for the sake of having a match.
I agree.
Bring back Chris Jericho.
I agree. Let me ask you, and I don't know. I'm going to bring up his name because he's just complete and utter, an oxygen stealer. Dave Meltzer said that so far, so the first half of the year, he does believe that Tony Khan right now is the booker of the year. Based on what we've seen so far in WWE,
that must have been a fat bonus.
Yeah, right. Based on what we've seen so far in WWE, I mean, can we debate it? Is it debatable?
It is debatable, but it's not debatable for the reasons that you think it's debatable.
Okay.
Like, we can say Tony Khan is Booker of the Year right now if you're putting him up against Triple H.
Right.
But Sean books NXT.
Oh, NXT is, like you and I said, that's the best wrestling show on TV.
NXT has been doing the best run of shows.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like, it's debatable, but it's not debatable for like the reason that you would think it's debatable. It's because Sean is actually doing much better than both of them right now.
I agree with you.
Especially since Triple H basically has to go through a filter. It's like you're giving me. It's like Triple H is putting on good matches.
Yeah.
But like, there's nothing behind them. There's nothing that makes me want to see where like this angle goes because there's no story because they don't care.
Right.
They got to throw all this money. If you want to build up Jey Uso to be a reputable champion, don't put him in a tag match with Cody Rhodes going against John Cena and Logan fucking Paul.
Mm-hmm.
That's not helping his cause any. You should have had him versus Gunther. That rematch you do at Money at the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
But Logan Paul's shilling the fucking company. So
yeah. So I've said this a couple times, and I want to say it on here for the first time. It's really hard for me to really hate on Triple H completely. Because if you look at public records, which the WWE is, TKO is, Triple H is one of the lowest men on the totem pole. And I just want to kind of remind everyone that them going back to Vegas or probably with Bad Bunny or with Travis Scott or Halliburton. I'm telling you guys right now, I'm 95% certain that this is completely TKO directives. Now, people at the end of the day have to realize that Vince McMahon didn't have anybody really to answer to ever. He led the ship.
Even when he didn't answer anybody.
Right. Triple H, everyone, while I can shred him for creative decisions on certain things, because I think he hasn't been a very good storyteller as a booker. But I do have to say that as the current way that the WWE is handled, Triple H has bosses he has to answer to. At the end of the day, Triple H just can't say what I say goes, because all it takes is for someone from TKO to come in there and say, look, this is kind of what we want. This is the direction we kind of want it to go. Just, you have to do it. And Triple H has to abide by that, or he's going to be booking NWA in a couple months. Like, it's just, It's just the way it is.
Shit, I put NWA on the map.
Yeah. So like, I think people need to kind of calm down with what I see online a lot, which is the complete and utter shredding of Triple H. Just remember, like all of us, at the end of the day, he has bosses he has to answer to.
Yeah.
And he can only do so much. I'm sure Triple H plenty of times says, I really don't want to do that. Or he tries to say no to this or tries to do that. At the end of the day, if Ari Emanuel and his henchmen come down to Triple H and said, this is what we want you to promote, this is where we're going. I don't care that you want to go to London for WrestleMania. We're going back to Las Vegas. I don't care if you want to go to the Superdome in New Orleans. We're going back to Las Vegas. There's really, yeah, there's, oh, that would be great. There is nothing, there's only so much Triple H can do. So I need people to sometimes realize that it's not always his creative, which is the end all be all of what we see.
So, I mean, if you want to shred him for the creative decisions, 1,000% fucking do it, because he's holding the pen and he's controlling that aspect of it. He doesn't get the call from up top. He doesn't get the call from up top to say, hey, we want you to change Seth Rollins' gimmick to that of a singing waiter. Like, he's not getting that fucking call.
Yeah.
But from a corporate standpoint, yeah, he's answering the bosses. But now let me ask you this, Chris, just in terms of like maybe TKO trying to look legitimized in their acquisition of WWE.
Right.
Do you think Dwayne Johnson was put on that board as a way to kind of get the fans over? Like, hey, look, we got The Rock on the board. He's on the board of directors, so you know you can trust us. Do you think he was just like a kind of like hiring a ringer?
Yeah.
Kind of like if a company wants to win like a softball game, they go and like hire a fucking former pro as like a janitor just to get him on the roster. Like
it's absolutely, when you go to a shareholders meeting or anything like that, and it comes up to WWE, and you say, "Here's The Rock," that's the I mean, how could you not get? What's better representation of your pro wrestling brand? Here's one of the biggest superstars of all time. He's the biggest star in Hollywood. Here he is. He's the final boss of the World Wrestling Entertainment. Yeah, it's a feather in the cap for TKO.
Yeah, like it makes them look good. It was there to convince the wrestling fans that TKO is there to help us. Like, look, we got The Rock. Yeah. We got the people's champ. The people, you're the people. He champions for you. And we got him on the board, and he's going to help us preserve this thing that you love.
Yeah,
we were sold a bill of goods.
Yeah,
but I mean, it didn't matter because we us as fans have no say who they take anyway. Yeah. But I was just thinking of that when I realized, like, yeah, like having The Rock on the board, because he doesn't do anything. He doesn't hold that much stock.
No, he does not. In terms of stockholders, he's again probably the lowest man on the totem pole.
Yeah,
he is.
So it's, you know, he was there as a figurehead to fool us. So if they need to do something TKO wise, like, oh, we'll just send The Rock out to cut a promo and smack his arm and do all that horse shit.
Yeah. And like Paul did mention, he thinks, no matter, he's making bank with the stock price. And just to be clear, right before WWE sold, their peak stock price was $150 a share. TKO right now is right around 165. So it's not like a massive, a massive bump for Triple H. Triple H obviously is doing very well for himself, but he's still one of the least paid executives in the entire company. In comparison to, like Nick Khan and everybody above that.
Triple H got paid in the boss's daughter.
So, for them to move in and cut Triple H's job is just another drop in the bucket for TKO. Yeah. It's not like, they have to answer to a guy making, 50, 60, 70, $80 million a year. That's just not it. But yeah.
What did you think? Did you see the comment that MVP made about how he doesn't have any respect for Triple H?
Yeah, I could honestly go draw a penny, MVP. Just go draw a penny in the business.
Yeah, give him a fucking crayon to do it with. But it's funny because he was somebody he's like, oh, like Bobby Lashley should have been a main eventer. It's like, dude, he's in AEW now and he's not in the main event. Like he's just a mid carder. He's just a mid carder in another company. Problem is, 1000% should fucking Bobby Lashley be the face of that fucking company.
I agree. Yeah.
But,
so I'm trying to answer Paul's question. I'll tell you what, I don't know how you have performance bonuses with Netflix because I don't know how they would judge that.
Maybe they go off of plays or something along that, but I don't.
Probably. I mean, obviously they have performance bonuses naturally, like merchandise royalties. I think now they have the travel accommodation, company performance bonuses, like stuff like that, like normal stuff they've always had in the WWE. So
speaking of performance bonuses, I think we should take Netflix's performance bonus away from them for making people wait 3.5 years for the next season or for the final season of Stranger Things, and then you release it in 3 phases.
Oh, it's 3? I thought it was 2.
The first phase will air the day before Thanksgiving.
Right.
The second phase will premiere on Christmas Day, and the final episode, which is like the last section,
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve at 8 p.m. Eastern time on New Year's Eve.
That's
what kind of dumbasseries are you people doing over there?
I'm not a fan of the edging there, Paul, but it's a great comment.
I'm a big fan of the edge. I wish you two would come around a little more.
All right. Okay, so let's get to the reason why we are here, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the Monday Night Wars Raw versus Nitro from April 29th, 1996. We are going to start things off with Monday Night Raw this week.
Oh, no.
And the reason why I'm starting off with Raw this week is, guess what, George? They're live.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we got a live show from Sioux City, Iowa, as we're in
Raw never goes live.
As we're in a rather sad era here following the departures of Bret Hart, Diesel, Razor Ramon all at once.
Putting it mildly.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Kid is going to be following soon thereafter.
Oh no, what a loss!
Let's get this thing started. Your host is Vince McMahon, Jerry the King Lawler, as always in this era. We get a leadoff show here: Bart Gunn versus Mankind.
Oh shit! Why didn't they make that the main event?
Well, bunch of things happen in this one, man. Mankind pounds on Bart in the corner. He charges, hits a post. Suddenly, we see some blood in a variety of places in Mankind's face, Bart's shoulders. So obviously, there was a shot that hit a little harder than intended somewhere. So this was definitely the hard way during this match. Bart goes up later on with a missile dropkick for a 2 count. Flying elbow gets 2. Bart does some good ground and pound work. Mankind applies the mandible claw from the bottom and finishes this match off at right about 11 minutes. Pretty odd choice for an opener on a live show. Jim Ross stops Bart on the way out, asking for insight on what the claw feels like, but Mankind attacks him again and lays him out.
That was just to let people know that Bart Gunn should never have a microphone in his hand.
Absolutely agree.
So if anything, Mick Foley did us a favor, and I thank you, Mick.
What was your thoughts on this opener on a live show?
I mean, it was. I mean, like Bart Gunn isn't a slouch. I mean, he'll give you a solid match, and it was all there to put Mankind over, make him look a little more dangerous, especially with the bleeding and all that, and a little more unpredictable. And you could see Mankind being, a little extra violent with a guy like Bart Gunn because Bart Gunn's not really a single star. He's on his tag team. It's an easy win for him to put him over. Because remember, at this point, he's also feuding with Taker. So we need to see why Mankind has the stroke to go up against Taker.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
And a quick, decisive win over Bart Gunn will do it. I'm assuming Billy was injured in this time because this is the second time we've seen Bart Gunn in a singles match on Monday Night Raw. So I'm assuming Billy must be injured.
I think you're right.
Because there's no fucking way in hell Bart Gunn is the singles choice to go over and not Billy.
God, no. I don't think so. So, yeah, you're right about that. Next match here, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Scott Taylor. Sorry, got ahead of myself by a couple years.
Yeah, he didn't get married yet. He didn't have to change his name.
Yeah. So, I mean, we get, Austin stops a mud hole in the corner. Savio Vega is here challenging him to a Caribbean strap match on commentary. We get near the end here. Jerry Lawler insults Puerto Ricans in general, hiding behind Vince. That was pretty funny.
You don't say.
I know.
96 Lawler saying something completely out of pocket.
I know. Austin wraps him up in a really bad STF and then finishes with the $1 Million Dream at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I mean, this is right before the Stone Cold Stunner era. So the finishes to the early Stone Cold Steve Austin matches were not that fun to watch. George, how was this? And man, how quick can we get out of this $1 Million Dream bullshit?
No, we're close. We're very close to the debut of the Stunner because the Stunner is coming. I'm not sure which comes first, the Stunner or Scott Hall's debut on WCW, but I'm anxiously awaiting both at this point.
Absolutely.
I mean, another solid match to put over Austin. I mean, he debuted back in January and he still has a job and he's on TV every week. So that's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. And we know what's coming in about a month and a half and we're all pretty excited about it. But I mean, and Savio Vega, they're still continuing their feud. That would have been dropped fucking today if it was going on.
1,000%.
Like it would have been like, all right, we're done with that. We'll just release Savio Vega and call it a fucking season. But like Savio on commentary, I thought was not a choice because it's like there's no way Vince is putting this guy on fucking commentary. He's probably very uncomfortable holding his wallet the whole time. We all know how Vince is.
Yes,
but I mean, and you know what though, Austin and Savio Vega always have good matches.
Yeah, he's always for decades has credited Savio for being one of his favorite people to work with.
And him and Savio cross paths like they're going to cross paths for a while because remember they in what was it No Way Out of Texas in '98 DX has Savio Vega on their team to face Austin.
Yes, they did.
And it was Austin, Owen Hart, and Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack.
Charlie
because Sean couldn't wrestle, so he got Savio Vega. It's like
right.
I love Savio Vega. Not enough respect put on his name.
I agree with that. So British Bulldog is out here now, and he wants a word with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Shawn puts himself over, and then Cornette makes a scandalous accusations of trying to seduce Diana Hart at the pay-per-view. He's a fornicator. Shawn is all about the don't flatter yourself. Diana slaps him, triggers a brawl. I remember reading that Meltzer went like gaga for this angle in the feud at the time, but of course it fizzled out by the King of the Ring. It was never actually paid off, but it was funny doing my research. And I remember reading, God, Meltzer was like, for some reason, all over this, probably because someone said fornicator. So Meltzer's like all giggity about it.
Meltzer's like, that's a dirty word. That's my mommy doesn't let me say those things. But I don't get this feud at all. I really like the whole reason why I don't get it is because listen, Diana Smith is a fucking hard 6 at best.
Jeez.
At fucking best. You see this guy? Do you see the fucking Heartbreak Kid? You think he's slumming it?
Yeah, no.
The fuck out of here. It's like, listen, he may go after a Mary broad, but she's gonna be worth his effort.
Yeah.
Sonny. When he says don't flatter yourself, I feel like that's not scripted. You just worked yourself into a shoot, brother. Because it's like I don't get any of that. It's like this is weird. Like she's like olive oil in a fucking bad wig. Like get out of here. Like get the fuck out of here.
Well, look, Raw gets better because we got the New Rockers versus the Godwins. The winner of this gets a title shot.
There is no winner.
There is your summation of the tag team division, ladies and gentlemen.
Nobody won this. Certainly not the viewers.
It was this was really bad. We get near this match, by the way, everybody went just about 10 minutes on a 1-hour show. Like they could have done like vignettes like the American Males where like 30-something goofs were trying to be a boy band or something like that. Like, enough with these gimmicks. Like, it's just so bad. Sunny distracts both teams. We get a double count out. The crowd is like shocked into silence. And they were silent for the entire match. So I can only conclude the whole match was pretty shocking.
They were shocked into slumber.
Yep. So, by the way, everybody, I started this by saying the winner gets a shot at the tag team titles. There is no winner. No one gets a shot. Sounds fair. Yeah. Welcome to Monday Night Raw.
and Sunny will be the first to tell you, there's a bunch of losers in the ring. And she's going to go in the back and cheat on her husband with the boy toy.
Exactly.
So, Diana Smith and Sunny on a regular basis. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not buying this shit. How's Meltzer losing his mind over this?
He's
like, she gives off middle-aged Sally Field vibes. I'm so into that.
Meanwhile, in the back, Mankind's being interviewed by JR in the basement. He wants to demonstrate the mandible claw on Jim Ross. Of course, JR wisely declines. Then we get
this time.
Right. Now we get to the real main event of the week. And that is the Ultimate Warrior versus Dr. Isaac Yankum DDS.
Whew.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but would this be the one and only in-ring appearance on Raw for the Warrior?
And it was 5 appearances too many.
Vince starts plugging the Warrior University nonsense, which was obviously part of Warrior's deal to come in. Warrior hits Yankum with a pair of corner clotheslines, tosses him as we get a commercial break. We're back with the Warrior making a comeback with more clotheslines before finishing with his normal Warrior splash at 3 minutes and 45 seconds. This was awful. Lawler is so upset he decides to take care of the Warrior himself, but sadly, the director can't give him any more slack on his headset cord, and he's confined to the desk area. Man, look, I was never really into the Bulldog angle, and of course we know what a disaster the Beware of Dog pay-per-view turned into, although not through any fault of their own. But man, George, the star power is seriously lacking at this point on WWF. And it shows. It shows big time.
Yep. Listen, we got Mankind, and we got Austin. Like, they had matches. And that's all well and good. Oh, wow. My man. It's just, I don't understand. Yep. Whenever this company is live.
Yeah.
They'd never put on a fucking great show.
I know.
When it's taped, they're like, hey, we're going to get The Undertaker out here. And like this program with fucking Michaels and Bulldog, they could just let them have a regular feud. Like, this storyline with Diana is just dumb.
It's bad. Yeah.
It's bad all over. Like, you could just have Bulldog saying, hey, I don't like that you beat my brother-in-law and I'm going to get the belt back for the Hart family. Do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little more exciting than my midwife said that you're hitting on her. And he's like, have you seen me? Like, it does not. I mean, I guess in 96, you kind of got to wonder if this is a little preview of Vinny Rue. You think he had his fingerprints on this one?
I would probably say yes. What do you think?
Probably.
Yeah,
if he's even there by this time. I don't know if he's even there in 96. Yeah, he is, because he was in the Billionaire Ted skits.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that makes total sense to me.
Good old Vic Venom.
Well, I'm all about it.
Yeah, I bet you are.
All right. So let's move over to WCW Monday Nitro. And shockingly, I'm pretty sure this was not a live episode of Monday Nitro. I think
Nope.
they taped it the previous week, correct?
I believe it was taped because weren't they preempted a little bit?
They were, yes, you are correct.
Because of the NBA playoffs, they got preempted, so it was taped. So I had to go back like an hour or so.
Yeah, what is this? The World Whining Federation? I thought that C and WCW meant commitment, Bischoff. Your hosts are Eric Bischoff, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Steve Mongo McMichael.
This fucking guy.
Yeah, I know. We do start off, though, with a pretty decent opening for the World Tag Team titles are on the line. Lex Luger and the Stinger versus Harlem Heat. Bischoff notes that the winner of Battle Bowl at Slamboree gets a title match at the Great American Bash, and that sure didn't happen. Just so many lies. So many lies.
Wait, no, it did happen because it was won by Lex, if I'm not mistaken. He had the title shot at Great American Bash.
Yes, I guess you're right. I guess.
But also, who gave a shit?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Battle Bowl. Battle of the Toilet Bowl, maybe.
Yeah, right. After a commercial break, we return with Booker T putting Sting down with a spin kick for a 2 count. Stevie with a bicycle kick for 2. The Heat get a more of a beatdown on Sting. It's a hot tag for Lex Luger, and he's throwing clotheslines all over the place. Just normal, simple Lex Luger stuff. Power slam on Booker, and it's Bonzo Gonzo as the Harlem Heat hit a double team power bomb on Luger. Now Jimmy Hart runs interference as normal, allowing Sting to roll up Booker for the unintentional cheap win at 8 minutes and 40 seconds. A lot of what's the word? A lot of gaga in this match, man.
Sting was so mortified that he had to get a cheap win that he went in the back and asked his wife to give him 50 lashes over the back with a kendo stick as punishment.
What was your thoughts on this opener? The crowd was hot. That's for sure.
Crowd was hot. You got Harlem Heat on TV. I'm paying attention. Sting and Luger. I still don't get this tag team. I don't fucking understand it even a slightest bit, nor why Luger's double champion on my TV. Yeah. But hey, this is good. This is a solid. This match alone was better than all of Raw.
I agree. But the next one, nothing prepared me for this. Fire and Ice versus the Steiner brothers. And according to Bischoff, everyone's talking about Fire and Ice.
Yeah, I bet.
It's crazy because you could tell Ice Train got off the gas because suddenly he's dropped 100 pounds, but he was the worst. Rick throws Ice Train around and Scott follows.
He was like an out of shape Ahmed Johnson, which is funny because we know what he's going to turn into later.
I know. Fire and Ice briefly later on gets some heat on Rick Steiner, but he comes back with a Steiner line on Ice Train out of nowhere for a quick pin, 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Man, if I was Rick and Scott, I would have asked Bischoff, what did we do wrong to you?
Yeah, I would ask for my release immediately and go back to Japan.
Yeah.
That adjective, play.
Ric Flair lets us know that Randy Savage is small next to the Nature Boy, and he's not worried about the Giant.
He said, and the Giant is small too. If you ask a woman, she goes, "Oh, he's tiny." She would have said more, but she got a little choked up.
Well, she's dead. But Glacier is coming, so that was the best part of the entire night.
Yeah, man, I'm fucking pumped.
However, I mean, well, not for many months after this, but eventually he does show up.
That's what confused me. I'm like, wait a minute. Doesn't he not show up for another 6 months?
Dude, it's 6 months.
It's it was like the original Veer Mahan is coming where they were fucking doing that on Raw for 8 months.
Look, Glaciers are slow moving. Come on, George.
I mean, at this point, Wrath and Morris are going to be here first.
Right? We got a parking lot brawl here, which is just a classic. I'm so excited to see this. Lord Steven Regal versus the Belfast Bruiser, which is Fit Finlay. So yeah, Finlay punches through a windshield, grabs a piece of concrete, but Regal goes to the eyes and finally throws some serious punches in response. Later on, we have, Regal tries to put Finlay through a windshield without success, so Finlay drops him on a safety railing face first. They fight on the roof of a pickup, and they take a crazy bump to the concrete. Another poor window just dies for this match. Thankfully, they gimmick the windows for that car, or that would have been awful. They fight on the roof of another car as Bischoff gets the director to pull out wider and wider. And Regal pile drives him on the roof, pins him on the hood with a win at 7 minutes. Just a crazy brawl, predating obviously the WWF Hardcore division by a long time. Dude, this was like awesome. This was so far ahead of its time.
Yeah, and here's the thing: you got the right two people for that match. You do that with like Scotty Riggs and fucking the Shark, then no, this goes nowhere.
Yeah,
he's right. Not yet. We're
not
getting
yet.
there.
We're almost there.
In a couple months, so someone's definitely gonna die. But like, you love to see a pod driver on top of a Yugo. It made Yugos relevant for a minute. And I don't know if you noticed this, but I did, and I rewound it. The ref only counted 2 and then just awarded the win.
Yeah.
I'm like, since you're looking up, like, was that 2? Because that sure as hell wasn't fucking 3.
I know.
But I mean, it was so good. Like, because Finlay and Real are going to lay it in. They're going to make it look real. The only thing that looked really off at it was the fact that that there were only 4 cars and they were basically proportionally separate from each other.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like the parking lot brawls that we would have later, where it was basically just a fight in surrounded by like a ring of cars, and Chavo Guerrero sitting on top of a roof cheering for you. Like, I miss a good parking lot brawl. Bring it back. Like, just that good old fashioned like fight surrounding the cars, and the other wrestlers sitting there yelling and tossing you a chain and all that shit. What happened to us?
We used to be a proper society.
We used to be a fucking proper society. Now you can't even ask people what do they love, what do they want. They don't even say head. They don't even fucking know, man.
Here we go with the main event of WCW Monday Nitro this week. The WCW World Title is on the line. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, versus the Giant. Flair tries to attack and gets press slammed, gets tossed out of the ring, but Giant misses a blind charge. Flair goes up, and that, of course, never works. Giant goes for the choke slam. Flair hits him in the Big Show and takes over. Flair also finds an international object in his tights and just puts Giant down with that. And now we go to school with the figure 4. Giant appears to be knocked out, suddenly wakes up, choke slams Flair right from the figure 4, wins the title at 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Dude, we have a new world champion.
On an episode of Nitro, no less.
Yep. On a very pivotal episode of Nitro, and I'll get into that in a second.
Couple things about this match that I thought were weird or interesting, whatever you want to say. The fact that the Giant's leg alone is almost as tall as Ric Flair.
Yeah, you sent me that photo, which was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like, that's just fucking wild to look at. And when Flair had him in the figure 4, why didn't the ref start counting? I mean, Giant's shoulders were down. So, I mean, and I know from every other match I've seen involved where someone's a figure 4, you can't lay on your back for 3 seconds because you'll get counted out. And the ref did not count at all for Giant. Otherwise, that would have been a 3 count. But either way, it's just that I thought was just a poorly produced segment of the match, but very surprising. Did not expect the Giant to actually even beat Ric Flair and to beat him clean too.
Yeah, clean 1, 2, 3.
Like clean as a sheet.
Yeah, man. Which I did appreciate that. Meltzer in his review didn't like it.
Oh, yeah, fucking don't say. Not enough Meltzer drivers.
Right. Or apparently not enough British Bulldog. But nonetheless.
I'm mad that Diana Smith isn't one of the women that's out there with.
I know. I'm going to say I thought it was great. You get to see a world title change on the main event of Nitro.
Let me Let me ask you this. Is there
Yeah.
ever a payoff to Flair flirting with Deborah McMichael at ringside?
No, there's never a payoff.
And Steve is so bothered by it, but not enough to get up from the announce table and go give Rick what for.
There's rarely ever any payoffs when it has to do with Ric Flair.
Okay. It's not Rick's fault. He's not holding the pen.
Well, that's true. But I'm sure if Rick wants to do something, he could just do it.
Listen, I feel like if Rick goes all the way on the storyline, he's going to go all the way. Let us not forget what he did for his last match. He hates your father.
That's a good point.
He hates your kid's father.
You ain't lying, man. Ridiculous.
Like that had to pay off. Just let Flair write his own storyline. It's going to be great.
So, due to the time slot changes with the NBA playoffs, this show scored one of the lowest ratings in history of the show. But something great came out of it. They would, of course, rebound from that. But in fact, TNT executives freaked out so much about the low ratings that they expanded the show to 2 hours as a result, a move that obviously changed everything. So what do you think about that?
That's kind of weird. Like they're like, I'm mad that you got a low rating. Here's an extra hour of TV.
I know, but that like Lily again.
That's like I fucking hate you, but here's $100 just because.
And it's crazy because again, it's as we get to do this every week, I expect people to kind of realize how many firsts WCW was responsible for. And this is a big one for the Monday Night Wars for a show to go to 2 hours. It's a really big deal. And this is it right here. Them having the lowest ratings in history because they were preempted sparked TNT to say, let's give them 2 hours. Let's see what they can do. And obviously it worked out very well. And then obviously died when it went to 3 hours. But nonetheless, this is a big Nitro. At the end of the day here, George, I think it's pretty easy to say Nitro gets the win.
This is an easy Nitro win.
Yeah, I agree.
I definitely think so.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you said you're talking about the parking lot brawl. It's like, oh, like this predates ECW by forever. It's like, yeah, but don't forget the Hollywood backlot brawl was only a month and a half ago. So
that's true too. But I mean,
I was like,
you're right.
That was like a month ago. I saw a clip
You're
of Piper talking about that match. And like how in the beginning of it, when Goldust comes in with the car and like runs him over and he jumps on the hood of the car.
Yeah.
He said, I guess it was reported in Uncle Dave's fan fiction newsletter that they used a body double for that. And Piper's like, he actually said, I'm 99.9% sure that was a body double. And like Piper called him out on it. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're 99.9% wrong again, Dave.
Shocking, right? Just shocking.
Piper's like, that was one shot. How the hell would there have, like, there's no way that would have worked.
Yeah, well, look, Dave was there.
Yeah, sure. In spirit.
Yeah.
It's fucking yin yang. But yeah, this is an easy Nitro win.
Yeah, easy Nitro win here. Let me just go to see what the ratings actually were, if it was the lowest in history. So let's see. 429. Yeah, 2.1 for Nitro. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2.1 for Nitro. Weird because the following week, next week, it's even lower. That's at 1.9, and Raw's at a 4.1 on next week's episode.
Some fucking how. I mean, next week's episode is a really good. It is a good episode. I've already jumped ahead, but not like 4.0 fucking good.
Let me just let everybody know that next week's 4.1 for the WWF Raw is not seen again until July 21st of 1997. And that was a Raw that was unopposed.
Ah, well.
So if we're going to go even deeper than that, the next time they get an over 4 with a Nitro,
probably summer of '98, if I'm going to guess.
January 19th, 1998.
Well, I would assume maybe even the night after the screw job. But,
No. What's that, October?
Well, that'd be November.
I'm sorry, November. What? November.
Survivor Series was early that year.
What,
it was
November 9th?
It was beginning of November, yeah.
So that would have been, they only had like a 3.4.
Well.
Nitro had a 4.3. So
Brett, because it thought Brett was going to show up.
Right. So if we look at the ratings here in 97, 98, it's like destruction from WCW here. But yeah, so the next time the WWF hits an over 4 going up against a Nitro is January 19th, 1998. Nitro had a 4.5, Raw had a 4. So it's these 4s, next week's 4 is the first one for a long time. So let's see what kind of show next week's Raw was when we cover it. Because that's just wild to think about that it takes a long time.
If I'm not mistaken, Christopher.
Yeah.
The reason why that episode of Raw had that jump is probably because it's after the night of the Royal Rumble in 1998.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm gonna look at that now. What did you say it was? It was January what?
January 19th of 1998.
January 19th, 1998. That was the day after the Royal Rumble in 1998, which was also the first appearance of Tyson on Monday Night Raw.
Wow, so that's pretty significant,
because that's the night when Austin gives him the finger.
Interesting.
And Austin had just won the Rumble, so yeah, it was for good reason.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that is our show this week. Thank you everybody who tuned in, obviously every week, for paying attention to the show. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe. As always, we're on here every single week, and if we're not, then just wait another week. We'll be on. But nonetheless, George, what do you got coming up on the Multiverse Movie Podcast this week?
Multiverse Movie Podcast, Chris. We just had you on the most recent episode where it was our part 3 of a casting of the Avengers casting. If the movie was to be made in the 90s, we just had you on for that. So that is the latest episode that's up. But this week we're doing Die Hard with a Vengeance, and this is should be the 30-year anniversary of that's release. So
yeah,
we're going to be recording that tomorrow, and it should go up probably at some point tomorrow evening. And then after that, we got Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze. So that's pretty exciting. And we got Scott back for that one, so that'd be a good one.
Back-to-back classics.
Scott's our resident turtle expert, the real master splinter, if you will.
I see. All right. So yeah, thank you so much, George. So as always, wherever you guys listen to your podcast, look up the Multiverse Movie Podcast. It's definitely a treat, that's for sure. Or in the words of Mr. Paul here, just hold on to your butts. So yeah, thank you guys very much.
Hold on to your butts, but not for the reason that you should hold on to your butts.
Right. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a great rest of your week and weekend, and we'll catch you guys down the road. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.